Hey everyone, it's Tara here. I haven't done an Insta Live for a long time, and I wanted to talk about moving from breakdowns to breakthroughs. So go ahead and type in the chat. I want to see who's here. How many of you have experienced a breakdown? And it could be a breakdown in business when things aren't going the way we expect, or maybe we've had a launch and we're not getting the results that we wanted, or it could be a breakdown in relationship or in finances, even a breakdown in cars. And the thing is I teach around how we live a life of freedom. I'm living here in Costa Rica, living my dream life, and the thing is I just got off a webinar teaching to my audience around how to consciously create a life of freedom through quantum creation, and freedom is not about having everything work out perfectly. That's not freedom. Freedom is, yes, it's the power to pursue our dreams no matter what, but even more than that, when we possess the knowledge to create our reality, when we embody that knowledge, a deep knowing on every cell of our body, how to create our reality, this, my friends, is freedom. And so when we understand how to take any breakdown and how to shift it into a breakthrough, so that when there's chaos in our life, when something happens and it seems like, oh my gosh, maybe the shit is hitting the fan, maybe if you've ever had a partner and there's a breakdown in a relationship, or things aren't happening the way that we expect it in business. When we understand how to, as my dog's all barking in the distance, how can we transcend it? And a lot of it, what I found in conscious creation, I was talking to someone on the phone the other day, or actually recently, and she had so much energy and emotional charge towards all the chaos in her life. She had just so much like victim energy about, this person's crazy, or this client, or not making enough money, or the clients are coming in. She had so much. It's one thing to know this is what's happening in my physical reality, and yet she had energy to it. And the thing is this is how we create our reality. It's with the thought image, with emotion. And so she was literally fueling this and creating more of this, and then wondering, why do things always happen to me? And I recently had a breakdown. Actually, over the past couple of years, I've had many breakdowns. And from these breakdowns, I have excavated such gifts. First of all, it allowed me to look at where I had ego attachments, whether it's attachment to being loved, or I attached my worthiness for someone to show up in a certain way, or attachment to having a certain house. If I have this kind of house, I'm okay. Attachment to having a certain amount of money in the bank account. And when I was able to see those and unhook for them, I came to know such a deep inner peace and a freedom. Because when we have this frequency, and when I say frequency, this emotional vibration of freedom, we're unstoppable. No person can affect us, because we're connected to our truth, like the core of our being. And so the first thing I wanted to share with you is that So taking that breakdown and being able to see where do you have an attachment to things showing up a certain way. And the invitation is, can you unhook from that? Can you be okay? Sometimes when I've had fears, I'll really go into that fear. Like, what's the worst thing that could happen? And when I really feel into it, then I'm able to just kind of like lean back and be like, okay. And the second thing, so the first that I shared with you is to look at, to unhook from the attachments. And the second is to look at this breakdown and ask, what are the gifts? What is the wisdom? Because we're here in this life to gain wisdom. That's the only thing that we bring with us when we leave this body. And when we're able to see, okay, what is the wisdom? Like, I've been through experiences where I have learned how to get so centered. I have been through initiations where sometimes it meant meditating 3-4 hours a day just to stay at a high frequency. Because if you haven't noticed, I'm sure you have, there's a lot of chaos going on in the world, a lot of control, a lot of fear. And I think people are starting to wake up to understand that things may not always be as we thought they were like 10 years ago. The monetary system could go away. There may be food shortages. I'm not going to be a gloom and doom person, but jobs maybe that we counted on are not there. But when we can anchor in the frequency, the truth of who we are, we can navigate anything. And that's why I've been teaching this for years. Frequency is making frequency your number one priority. And this goes back to the breakdown. When we have a breakdown, I've had times where I've just been sobbing and in tears and have felt an excruciating amount of pain. And when I was able to lean into it, to feel it, to embrace it, and then to surrender to you can use whatever word fits for you, a higher power, a supreme intelligence, your soul. And when we take whatever's showing up and saying, okay, like, I'm feeling it, I'm not here to bypass it, I can't, there is a higher power than me that can, and then just turning it over. And when we do, we receive miracles in our life. And so there may be people in your life that want you to suffer, or you may even think like, oh, I'm being punished because X is happening. And none of those, that could be a story that we tell. And what I'm sharing with you is how we transcend the stories. Whatever story that you're telling yourself about your life. If it's an amazing story, then awesome, because you're going to create that kind of reality. But if there's a story in your life that life is hard, there's a story in your life that I keep on hitting this, like this, I keep on sabotaging myself and I can't seem to get past a certain financial level. Or there's a story that, there's just no, I can't call in my soul partner. There are just not that many people with my values and at my level. Whatever that story is, it's a story. And if you're invested in that story, and when I say invested, it's because we put that energy into it, that's what we create. And so the invitation is to shift the story, to look at the story that you're currently saying about your life and to feel the emotions, to do the inner work and see, okay, trace it back. Where does this come from? And to transmute it. And when we do, we transcend it. And from that place, we're able to choose a new story. And this is how we move from a breakdown to breakthrough. I just got off a training. I was teaching to my audience around the Freedom Accelerator and how to materialize a life of freedom through quantum creation. And if you're interested in diving deep, because I share the 7 key codes to quantum creation, something that through all these breakdowns I had over the past couple years, it culminated in this signature work that I'm starting to share. Something before I've only worked with my private clients, other leaders and high achievers, and I felt it was time now to share with the world. So you can click on the link in my bio if you want to join us. The next one is next week. And if you have any questions, I'm here still I'll stay on for a couple minutes more, or I will, if no more questions, we'll move on. Sending you all so much love. Remember, we're here to evolve and be free.